morning, everyone. Welcome to Unity this morning. I'm just going to invite you to come into the presence of this room and leave the world outside these doors and allow this hour to connect with this greater power, this greater love we call God, Spirit, Source, whatever word helps you feel connected and deeply a part of this greater something. Today we're going to chant. We always start with chanting, and they say to sing is to pray twice, so we invite you to chant with us. Norma and I will be the call, and Louie and Larry will be the response. And just enjoy it. Sing along or close your eyes and just become a part of the presence. Open my heart, let holy love flow through me, center my soul, upon the path of peace, make of my life a melody of love. God is in all of life. We are all one. Open my mind. Let kindness flow through me. Centered in love, a love with no end. Make of my life a melody of love. God is in all of life. We are all one. Open my eyes to see love before me. Radiant love, shining through all. Make of my life a melody of love. God is in all of life. We are all one. Open my heart. Let holy love flow through me. Center my soul upon the path of peace. Make of my life a melody of love. God is in all of life. We are all one. Open my mind. Let kindness flow through me. Centered in love, a love with no end. Make of my life a melody of love. God is in all of life.
see love before me. Radiant love, shining through all, make up my life, a melody of love, God is in all of life, we are all one. Open my heart, let only love flow through me, center my soul, upon the path of peace, make up my life, a melody of love, God is in all of life, we are all one. Open my mind, let kindness flow through me, centered in love, a love with no end, make up my life, a melody of love, God is in all of life, we are all one. Open my eyes to see love before me, radiant love, shining through all, make up my life, a melody of love, God is in all of life, we are all one. Creator of all life, 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 Creator of all life,
Again, let me ask for a couple of volunteers after this service is over to clear this altar area so we can prepare for the next service. Let's begin with this first PowerPoint. Can we have this up on the screen, please? This is from the ancient wisdom at the temple in Greece around 6 BC, the temple of Apollo. Oh, there we are. Okay, this one's not working. Know thyself. And for many of us in the beginning stages of our understanding, this seems superfluous because most people believe they know themselves. Person will say to you, I just look in the mirror, there I am. But there is much more to you than hangs between your hat and boots, as Shakespeare put it. There is much more beyond the appearance of being a body housing a mind. And that is what life is all about. Life is all about opening us up or having us awaken to this more expanded reality. Now, it's certain that many people attempt to confine existence to their simple physical lives and understanding. But that is not the destiny, and eventually that plays out and cannot bring forth any kind of fulfillment whatsoever. So the sooner we come into the realization that we are divine in origin, going through a human experience as a schooling process, and the object of our experience is to grow beyond the limited initial definition of life, that I'm strictly a physical person in a world of separate phenomena. That's what we're doing here, actually. So we have an oversoul. We have a universal self. Jesus refers to our Father in heaven. And so eventually we want to align ourselves with that divine awareness, because it is the fountain of all wisdom and love. Living effectively, beautifully, joyfully cannot be accomplished until we align ourselves with this greater intelligence that we often refer to as God. And it's best to refer to God as the divine nature within us that we are allowing eventually to blossom in our consciousness. That's what our purpose here is all about. From this overself, we gain the wisdom and the understanding to understand the next admonition, which is written above the entrance to the Temple of Apollo in Delphi, Greece in 6 BC. The first admonition, know thyself. The second one beneath it is this. Can we have this next PowerPoint, please? All things in moderation. We have to understand that we need to align ourselves with this greater intelligence of which we are a part in order to understand moderation. And if we look at the Western culture today, we see how far beyond moderation the thinking is of the people caught in the illusion of their physical lives. And so we have nothing but conflict, problems, war. There's never enough. There's greed. there's haste, there's fear. So until there are enough human beings in the journey on to this higher self, we will not be able to prevail over the limited thinking of the world. Note, by the way, that this, all things in moderation, does not say shave your head, be celibate, live only on rice and water. Of course, if you're aspiring to be a monk or a nun, I suppose, maybe those things are what you would do. You would kind of renounce the world. But be assured of the fact that the master of all masters did not call his disciples to renounce the world. In fact, he prayed for us to remain in the world, but to renounce the evil or eschew the evil of the world. Don't be caught up in, don't be trapped in the illusionary idea of self, which the world operates in. So, yes, we are here to live our lives effectively in balance with reality, not attempting to be in balance with the insanity of the illusion-driven world. It's not our calling to be in the world. It is our calling to be in the world, but not of the world. So, if anyone here, by the way, has a problem understanding what the definition of evil in that passage, which you can read in the Gospel of John, chapter 17, I'm praying not to take my disciples out of the world, but that you would keep them from the evil of the world. What is the definition of evil there? You have a problem with that. Just look at our present day political system. It's as clear as it can be. And in antithesis to that, what you see happening in our present day political system in this culture, you have this truth in antithesis to all that. Can we have this next PowerPoint, please? You read this in Matthew 7:12. So whatever you wish that others would do to you, do so to them, for this is the law and the prophets. This is all the truth any human being would ever have to know and attempt to practice to be right with the universe. That's all of it. This is the only rule. After this, no religion is necessary. No authority figures and what they have to say, no matter what they've done, can be as clear as this right here. When you bring this about, when you get to this place in doing this, you will know the majesty and the joy and the insight of the ever-present God that will fill you with love and truth. You will know yourself to be connected to everything in creation. And knowing that, what need does anyone have for religion or dogma or highfalutin gurus or teachers or weekend seminars? What need would you have for that? Because you would have a reverence for everything that you are connected to, knowing it also is God. So there's no one having to tell you to have reverence. You would naturally have reverence. And reverence is beautiful. You would acknowledge the beauty and the majesty of life fully and completely. And so you would be naturally reverenced. And by the way, no one knows the will of God for you better than you. No one knows the will of God for you better than you. If you are practicing, listen to it, It takes it right out of the Western culture completely. If you are practicing introspection, if you are keenly aware of relating to the fact that you're able to reflect upon what you think and the actions you take, and if you want to be in keeping with the harmony and the truth of our oneness with all life, and that introspection, that's all the religion there is. Here's some sage advice about moderation. Can we have this up here? This is from Ecclesiastes, chapter 2. There is nothing better for a man, and of course this was written back in ancient times as well. There's nothing better for a man or woman than that he or she should eat and drink and find enjoyment in their work. This also I saw is from the hand of God. For apart from him, who can eat or who can have enjoyment? What the preacher, as Ecclesiastes is referred to, what the preacher is saying that after a lifetime of research, he had discovered that to everything there is a season and a time. And what is he saying? He is saying to you, enjoy your physical life as you're living it. Be in touch with it. Be present with it. Enjoy it. Enjoy what you eat and enjoy what you drink. And also, the implication here is enjoy your love making. Enjoy your, whatever it is in your culture, you know, enjoy your friendship, enjoy your family, enjoy nature, but in moderation. All things in moderation. And so I was going to joke a little bit here. I'll tell you what I was going to joke about. I was going to say, when it comes to sex, in moderation, what we're talking about is twice a night between the ages of 18 and 30, twice a week between the ages of 31 and 59, and I was going to go on like that, and then you were going to chuckle and laugh. But I wanted to bring you to this place where there are so many variables in the consciousness of each individual that moderation has to be understood from their own introspection, from your own introspection and your alignment with the divine intelligence that knows about you. Then that's where you find your moderation in all things that you are undertaking to do. So a glass of wine or two on the weekend, a couple of beers on the weekend, or watching a football game isn't going to have any detriment to your soul consciousness. But now I'm going to share with you something of extreme importance. Because of the flawed nature that we were grown up in and educated in. Let's take a look at this next PowerPoint from Eckhart Tolle, please. Oh, wait a second. Yeah. You're going to give me the video, right? Yes, give me the video, because it is going to reveal to us the secret that is most guarded by us. So this is Alan Watts, the modern day sage.
If you awaken from this illusion, and you understand that black implies white, self implies other, life implies death, or shall I say, death implies life, you can feel yourself not as a stranger in the world, not as something here on probation, not as something that has arrived here by fluke, but you can begin to feel your own existence as absolutely fundamental. I'm not trying to sell you on this idea in the sense of converting you to it. I want you to play with it. I want you to think of its possibilities. I'm not trying to prove it. I'm just putting it forward as a possibility of life to think about. So then, let's
Can you
suppose
turn up the
that you
sound?
were able every night to dream any dream you wanted to dream. And that you could, for example, have the power within one night to dream 75 years
Take
of
it
time,
down a little bit, thank you.
or any length of time you wanted to have. And you would naturally, as you began on this adventure of dreams, you would fulfill all your wishes. You would have every kind of pleasure you could conceive. And after several nights of 75 years of total pleasure each, you would say, well, that was pretty great. But now let's have a surprise. Let's have a dream which isn't under control. Well, something is going to happen to me that I don't know what it's going to be. And you would dig that and come out of that and say, wow, that was a close shave, wasn't it? And then you would get more and more adventurous, and you would make further and further out gambles as to what you would dream. And finally, you would dream where you are now. You would dream the dream of living the life that you are actually living today. That would be within the infinite multiplicity of choices you would have, of playing that you weren't God. Because the whole nature of the Godhead, according to this idea, is to play that he's not. So in this idea then, everybody is fundamentally the ultimate reality. Not God in a politically kingly sense, but God in the sense of being the self, the deep down basic whatever there is. And you're all that, only you're pretending you're not.
That is very clearly put. So, can you sense that you and I and everybody who is alive has a destiny to come to this realization, so that you're not taken out of the world, that you have entered into the miracle awareness of being alive in life, truly alive, which brings us to the truth that Eckhart Tolle is attempting to reveal to us, to be alive in the moment, so that when you're eating your food, you're enjoying your food. When you're having a drink, or even if you're toking some pot, enjoy the high. When you're having sex, don't be involved in thinking about, well, when I get through this, I do have a lot of things I've got to get done. I've got my homework. I've got the clients I've got to call up. Just be totally into the beautiful experience of it in the present moment. Because what is taking place in every life, we are being moved from strictly physical awareness to divine sacred awareness, in which we acknowledge the divinity of everything in our lives and everything we do. It's not taken for granted. It's not rushed past or rushed through or gotten over with or disliked or feared. It's understood that it's sacred what we do. And when we do it in that consciousness, we have the beauty and the majesty of joy and peace and acceptance without the attachment of guilt and insanity that goes, especially in our Western culture, driven for something that is beyond our kin. So let's take a look at this from Eckhart Tolle. This is very important to us. You can read this in Stillness Speaks on page 44. When your attention moves into the now, there is an alertness. It is as if you were waking up from a dream, the dream of thought, the dream of past and future. Such clarity, such simplicity. No room for problem making. Just this moment as it is. The moment you enter the now with your attention, you realize that life is sacred. There is a sacredness to everything you perceive when you are present. There is a sacredness to everything you perceive when you are present. All right, let's keep going. The more you live in the now, the more you sense the simple yet profound joy of being and the sacredness of all life. Do you see how this cleanses the mind that has been conditioned by the world to all the limited ideas, all the fears and consternation, all the need for the thought of the healings that I need, and all the shift away from authority figures. Do you understand how we've been conditioned from our childhood to acknowledge these authority figures who are themselves not necessarily introspective? They're not necessarily in touch, and so they do all of this stuff in the outer directed, illusion-driven life in which the bottom line too often is simply to go on living and gaining enough money to support their cars and their house and their boat. Do you see how this, the decision to become present in understanding your own sacredness, that you have the wisdom of all creation within your sphere of understanding, that you can tune into it through meditation and understand what is really appropriate in the moment. And you get out of the past and the future, the insanity of, mulling over the past with regret, the future which has no bearing yet. It's all imagined, and the fears we bring into that too. But can you imagine being brave enough and awake enough to live in the day, each day, and as it unfolds before you, to know it is sacred, and you are sacred, and everything is worthy to be blessed, forgiven, released, and eventually loved. We're going to take a few moments for meditation together, where we relax into the okayness and sacredness of being alive. sacred in the moment of all sacred creation. I am sacred in the moment of all sacred creation. as we go forth from this meditation to those places we occupy in time and space. Let us go forth with a focused practice to be present in the moment with what is taking place in the moment. Taking our time to be awake in life and knowing it is all by divine order that we are living and coming into our complete and total destiny of being co-creators in God. For this opportunity in every moment, we do give thanks. To this we say, Amen. We will take an offering for unity now. As we're preparing to do this, I invite you to stick around. We're going to have the ministers' panel at the 11 o'clock service. That is Santisha, Shad, and myself. We'll be present to field any questions you have about relationships, whether in the family, in the workplace, in your partnership with people you live with and love with. So we'll share with you what, for many of us, we're talking about years and years and years of counseling and ministry. So stick around, it's going to be interesting. As we take our offerings in our hands, let's bless them with this offering statement. Divine love is my true life and my conscious destiny. Therefore, I give. Together, please. Divine love is my true life and my conscious destiny. Therefore, I give.